Okay class, so now kita tengok equation of plane. So soalan nombor 5, find an equation of the plane passing through the point 1, 2, -1 and orthogonal to the vector n equal to 3, -1 and 7. Okay, so kita ada satu plane. Plane ni adalah flat surface, macam kertas tu awak bentangkan ataupun awak tegakkan, kita panggil dia plane. Okay, flat surface. So katakanlah ada a point on a plane. So a point on a plane katakan ada kat sini. So we have 1, 2, -1. Okay. Kalau tadi untuk equation of line kita gunakan hubungan di mana kalau satu vektor parallel dengan vektor yang lain, dia mesti ada skala T yang menghubungkan kedua-dua vektor. So kita gunakan hubungan ni untuk kita cari equation of line that parallel to a vector. Now, we want to find an equation of plane that is orthogonal to a vector. Orthogonal ni maksudnya perpendicular, berserenjang. So kalau kita kata orthogonal, maksudnya vektor tu menegak ke atas macam ni. Okay. So kita nak cari equation of plane yang orthogonal to the vector. So kita akan gunakan hubungan di mana kalau ada dua vektor, katakan vektor R dengan vektor V, kita kata dua-dua vektor ni orthogonal. Kalau kita buat dot product of these two vector, kita dapat sama dengan kosong. Okay, dot product of a perpendicular or orthogonal vector is equal to 0. Okay, so sekarang awak dah diberi vektor n. Vektor n adalah this one, which is 3i minus j plus 7k. Okay, ni vektor n. So macam mana kita nak cari equation of plane? We need another vector that lies on the plane, so that kita ada vektor yang perpendicular kepada vektor n. So kita kena cari satu vektor yang ada di atas plane ni. Okay, so macam mana nak cari satu vektor? Sama case macam equation of line tadi. We have another point on the plane which is p, x, y, z. Okay, so kita boleh carilah vektor on the plane. Okay, so kita akan buat p minus with the point. So we will have x minus 1 for I, plus dengan y minus 2 for j, plus dengan z minus -1 for k. Okay, so what you will have here is x minus 1i plus with y minus 2j plus with z plus 1k. Okay, so ini adalah vektor yang berada di atas plane. Okay, so vektor yang berada di atas plane ini, kalau kita dot productkan dengan vektor yang perpendicular kepada dia, iaitu diberi kepada awak here 3, -1, 7. Okay, which is 3i minus j plus 7k. Kalau kita dot productkan kedua-dua vektor ini, kita akan dapat sama dengan kosong kerana kedua-dua vektor ini is said to be perpendicular or orthogonal. Okay, so macam mana kita buat dot product? I darab dengan I plus j darab dengan j plus k darab dengan k. So sekarang kita ada I. Okay, darabkan dengan I. So apa yang awak akan dapat adalah 3 darab x minus 1 plus j darabkan dengan j. So awak ada -1 darab dengan y minus 2 plus k darabkan dengan k. So you have 7 times z plus 1 must be equal to 0. Okay, so now what you need to do is you need to expand this equation. So 3 times x, you have 3x. 3 times -1, you have -3. -1 times y, you have -y. -1 times -2, you have +2. 7 times z, you have +7z. 7 times 1, you have +7 is equal to 0. Okay, so you have here -3 plus with 2 will be -1. -1 plus with 7 will give you 6. So what you have here is 3x minus y plus 7z plus 6 is equal to 0. Okay, so you can left your answer here, or you can bring the +6 to the right. So you have here 3x minus y plus 7z equal to -6. So inilah dia equation of plane. Okay, so ini adalah equation of plane. Okay kelas, so tengok soalan nombor 6. Find an equation of the plane through the point P1, -2, 0, Q3, 1, 4 and R0, -1, -2. Okay, so sekarang ni kita tahu untuk kita cari equation of plane, kita akan gunakan hubungan di mana dua vektor, katakanlah vektor R dan vektor V. Okay, bila kita dot productkan dua vektor yang perpendicular ataupun orthogonal, kita akan dapat sama dengan kosong. Ini hubungan yang kita akan guna untuk kita cari equation of plane. Tapi masalah kita sekarang adalah satu, dia tak bagi kita vektor kat atas plane. Kita kena cari. Yang kedua, kita tak ada pun vektor yang orthogonal, dia tak bagi tahu pun. So kita kena cari. Okay, so you need to use all knowledge that you learned before about the cross product and also the dot product to find the equation of plane if you have given a 3 point here. Okay, so saya lukis dulu. Let's say we have plane, satu plane. Okay, dikatakan kepada awak plane ini adalah mempunyai 3 point. Maksudnya there is 3 points that lies on the plane, which is P, Q dan R. Dikatakanlah sini point P, sini point Q, sini point R, katakan. Okay, you can letak je macam mana pun, sama je nanti at the end of the soalan. So kita boleh cari vector on the plane. Okay, we can take any 2 points dan cari vector on the plane. But then the problem is, what is the orthogonal vector to this plane? Apa dia vektor yang perpendicular kepada plane ni? So kalau awak masih ingat, when we do a cross product of two vector, let's say PQ cross with PR, for example, what you will have is the vector that is menegak ke atas ni. Tahu tak? Sebelum ni kita buat cross product PQ cross with PR, kita dapat vektor yang menegak ke atas tu. So there is no problem for us to find what is the vector n, let's say here. Okay, just by doing the cross product of PQ and PR. But the first thing is you need to find what is PQ and what is PR. Okay, so P adalah this one, Q adalah this one and R adalah this one. So kalau kita nak cari PQ, maksudnya Q tolak P. Okay, Q tolak P. So 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is what? 3 minus PQ So P nak cari vektor PQ, Q tolak P. So 3 minus 1 is 2. This one is 4i. 1 minus negative 2. Minus negative adalah positive. So 1 plus 2 is 3j. 4 minus with 0 is 4k. So now you already have the vector PQ. Okay, so next we want to find what is the vector PR. Okay, so sama je konsep dia. Kalau kita nak cari vector PR, so vector PR adalah R tolak P. Okay, so kita nak cari R tolak P pula. So now kita ada R0 minus 1 is negative 1 I. Negative 1 minus negative 2. Minus minus is plus. So negative 1 plus 2 is 1 J. Negative 2 minus 0 is negative 2. So you have negative 2K. So ini adalah vektor PR dan PQ. Okay, so you can find the vector that is menegak ke atas ni, perpendicular to the plane, dengan cara melakukan cross product of PQ dan PR. So now kita nak buat cross product PQ cross with PR. So if you can remember cross product, kita akan cari macam determinant. Okay, so we have I here, J and K. So for PQ we have 2, 3 and 4. For PR, we have negative 1, 1 and negative 2. Okay, so now kita akan cancel the first row and the first column. Okay, so this one is 4i. So what you will have here is the determinant of 3, 4, 1, negative 2 and this one is 4i. Okay, next we will cancel the first row and the second column. And this one is for J, but don't forget that the sign will be negative. so negative. Okay, and the determinant of remaining 2, -1, 4, -2, and this one is for j. Okay, and now we cancel out the first row and the third column. So this one is for k, the sign will be positive. Okay, so we have plus determinant of 2, 3, -1, and 1. This one is for k. Alright, and then how to do the determinant of 2 times 2 matrix we have learned before. 3 multiplied by -2, you have -6, minus 4 multiplied by 1, you have 4. This one is for I. Minus with 2 multiplied by -2 is -4, minus -1 multiplied by 4 is -4. Okay, and this one is for j, plus 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, minus 3 multiplied by -1 is -3, and this one is for k. So if you selesaikan semua ni, you will get -10i, -4 plus 4 is 0, so there is no j. 0 times j is 0, so there is no j. 2 minus and minus is plus, so 2 plus 3 is 5k. So you have -10i plus 5k. So -10i plus 5k ni apa dia? Yang ini adalah vector that is perpendicular to the plane. So now you already have your n, -10i tambah 5k. Okay. Alright. So you nak kena cari pula satu vektor di atas line. So untuk awak cari satu vektor di atas plane. So untuk awak cari satu vektor di atas plane, you can take any point. So sekarang point awak ada 3 kan kat atas plane ni. So awak boleh pilih mana-mana pun, sama ada awak nak ambil point P ke, nak ambil point Q ke, nak ambil point R ke, suka hati awak. Okay, so katakanlah saya ambil point P. Okay, so kita akan cari the vector P not P. P ni always X, Y, Z It's not point, it's always X, Y, Z. So it will be minus with the point P naught. Let's say this one is P naught. So kita akan dapat vektornya adalah X minus 1 for I, plus Y minus -2 for J, plus Z minus 0 for K. So you can take any point on the plane. Tak kisah apa-apa point pun. Okay, so awak akan dapat vector on the plane is X minus 1I plus Y plus 2j plus zk. So now kita dah ada dua vektor. This one is vector on the plane. This one is the vector that is perpendicular to the plane. So kita gunakan hubungan ni, dua vektor yang perpendicular. Kalau kita dot product akan dapat sama dengan kosong. Okay, means that the vector on the plane which is X minus 1i plus dengan Y plus 2j plus dengan zk. Okay, kalau kita dot productkan dengan vektor yang perpendicular which is -10i plus 5k, we must get is equal to 0 because it's perpendicular. So macam mana nak buat dot product? Okay, so I darabkan dengan I, so you will have -10 times X minus 1 plus, okay, J darabkan dengan J, so J here is 0, so you have 0 multiplied by Y plus 2, okay, plus K darab dengan K, so you have 5 multiplied by Z must be equal to 0. Alright, then we expand this equation. So -10 times X, you have -10X, -10 times -1 will be +10. 0 times all things is 0, so you have here is 5Z equal to 0. So at the end you will have -10X plus 5Z equal to -10. You bring the +10 to the right. Okay, so this one is the equation of the plane. -10X plus 5Z is equal to -10. Okay. Okay class, so tengok soalan nombor 7. Find an equation of the plane through the point P 3 to 1, Q 2, 1, -1 and R -1, 3, 2. So ini adalah soalan popular untuk final exam. Dia bagi awak 3 point, tapi dia suruh awak cari equation of plane. Okay, so you need to remember the concept. Okay, we have plane. So di atas plane ni awak ada 3 point which is P, Q, R. Let's say this one is P, this one is Q and this one is R, let's say. Okay, Okay, so kita tahu yang untuk mencari equation of plane, we will always use the relationship where two vectors that is perpendicular. If we do a dot product, we will get it's equal to 0. Let's say we have R is the vector on the plane. We dot product dengan N adalah vector yang perpendicular ataupun orthogonal to the plane. We will always get equal to 0. So inilah hubungan yang kita akan guna untuk cari equation of plane. Okay, but then the problem is now we don't have any vector that is perpendicular to the plane. Kita tak ada, dia tak diberi kepada dalam soalan ni vektor yang perpendicular kepada plane ataupun orthogonal. Perpendicular dengan orthogonal tu adalah benda yang sama. Okay, tapi you boleh cari vector that is orthogonal, which is here and okay, dengan menggunakan cross product, because we have learned before, if we have, let's say, the vector PQ, ni adalah vektor PQ. Okay, darab dengan vektor PR ataupun cross product dengan vektor PR, apa yang awak dapat adalah the vector that is orthogonal, naik ke atas ni di antara kedua-dua vektor ni. Okay, so there is no problem anymore for us to find the orthogonal vector on the plane, where we just need to perform this operation. So but then before that, we need to find what is PQ. Okay, so vector PQ adalah point Q minus point P. So 2 minus with 3, you will have negative 1i. 1 minus with 2, you will have negative 1j. Negative 1 minus with 1, you will have negative 2k. So this one is the vector PQ. Now we want to find what is vector PR. Okay, so vector PR is point R minus point P. Okay, so your R is negative 1 minus with 3, you will have negative 4i. Okay, 3 minus with 2, you will have 1j. 2 minus with 1, you will have 1k. Okay, so this one is your 2 vector. So now we want to perform a cross product, because kita nak cari the orthogonal vector here. So we will perform the PQ cross with PR. So you know this one must be in the term of determinant. Okay, so PQ kita adalah negative 1, negative 1, negative 2. PR kita adalah negative 4, 1 and 1. Okay, so now kita akan cross the first row and the first column. So this one is 4. So you will have determinant of negative 1, 1, negative 2, 1, and this one is 4i. Minus, don't forget that second one must be minus the first row and the second column here. So you have determinant of negative 1, negative 4, negative 2, 1. This one is 4j. Okay, plus, so now you cancel out the first row and the third column. This one is 4k. So you will have negative 1, negative 4, negative 1, 1. This one is 4k. Okay, so let's solve this one. So you have negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, minus with negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. This one is 4i. Okay, minus negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, minus with 4, negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. Okay, this one is 4j, plus negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, minus with negative 4 times negative 1 is 4. This one is 4k. Alright, so minus is plus, negative 1 plus 2 is 1i. So you have 1i. Negative 1 minus 8 is negative 9. So negative and negative will be positive 9j. Okay, negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. So you have here negative 5k. So this one is this one, n. Okay, the vector that is orthogonal to the plane. So now we want to find what is the vector on the plane. So nak cari vector on the plane, you can take any point. You can take any point from these three. You can take any. Let's say I want to take this point 3 to 1. Okay, so the vector on the plane will be x minus 3i plus y minus 2j. Okay, 3 to 1 3 to 1 point dia. So x minus 3i, y minus 2j plus z minus 1k. So ini adalah vector that lies on the plane. Okay, kita dot productkan this vector dengan yang orthogonal to the plane, which is I plus 9j minus 5k. You will get it equal to 0 because that one is perpendicular. Alright, so what you need to do next is I multiply by I. So you will have 1 times x minus 3 plus j multiply by j. So you have 9 times y minus 2 plus k multiply by k. So you will have negative 5 times z minus 1. So it will give you equal to 0. Okay, so next our task is to expand. This one is 1 times x minus 3. So you will have x minus 3 here plus with 9y minus with 18 minus with 5z plus with 5 equal to 0. Okay, so negative 3 minus 18 is negative 21. Negative 21 plus with 5, you will have negative 16. Okay, then you have x plus 9y minus 5z. So this one is equal to 0. Okay, so you can bring this negative 16 to the right. So you will have x plus 9y minus 5z is equal to 16. So this is the equation of plane. Right? Okay, so yang last, find an equation of the plane through the point P, negative 1, 2, 1, Q, 0, negative 3, 2, and R, 1, 1, and negative 4. So, sama je macam sebelum ni. Okay, so kita kena cari dulu vector PQ. So, vector PQ adalah Q minus P. So, 0 minus negative 1 is 1I. Negative 3 minus with 2 is negative 5J. 2 minus with 1 will be 1K. Okay, and then we want to find what is the vector PR. Okay, so vector PR is R minus P. So, so 1 minus negative 1 will be 2I. Okay, 1 minus 1 minus negative 1 will be 1 plus 1. So, 2I. 1 minus with 2 will be negative 1J. And you have negative 4 minus with 1 is negative 5K. Okay, so now you dah ada dua PQ dan PR. So, kita ada point P here, point Q here, and point R here. So this one is PQ, this one is PR. So when we cross product, what we will have is the vector N here. Okay, so let's perform the cross product. PQ cross with PR. Okay, so you will have this one for I, J, and K. Okay, so I untuk PQ kita ada 1, negative 5, and 1. And untuk PR kita ada 2, negative 1, and negative 5. Okay, so let's eliminate the first row and the first column here. So this one is for I. So you need to find the determinant of negative 5, negative 1, 1, negative 5, and this one is for I. Don't forget that the second one must be minus. Okay, so we eliminate the first row and the second column. This one is for J. So you have to find the determinant of 1, 2, 1, negative 5. This one is for J. Okay, and you plus with, eliminate the third one. Okay, the third one here. So you have the determinant of 1, 2, negative 5, negative 1. This one is for K. Right? So now let's solve this one. Okay, negative 5 multiply negative 5 is 25 minus with 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. This one is for I. Minus 1 times negative 5 is negative 5 minus with 2 times 1 is 2. So this one is for J. Plus 1 times negative 1 is negative 1 minus with negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. And this one is for K. So you have here 25 plus 1 is 26I. Negative 5 minus 7, negative 5 minus 2 is minus 7. Minus and minus will be plus 7J. Negative 1 plus 10 will be 9. So you have plus 9K. So this one is the vector N that is perpendicular to the plane. So now we want to find the vector on the plane. So you can take any point. Okay, either you want to take point P, point Q, or point R is all correct. Okay, so let's say I am taking point P. So the vector on the plane will be x minus -1. This one is for I. Okay, and then I have y minus with 2. This one is for j. And I have z minus with 1. This one is for k. And this vector on the plane, if we dot product with the perpendicular vector, which is 26i plus 7j plus 9k, what you will get in return is equal to 0 because they are perpendicular. Okay, so now let's solve this one. So I multiply by I because you are doing the dot product here. So you have here I is x minus is plus, so you have x plus 1. So 26 times x plus 1 plus with j multiply with j, so you have 7 times y minus 2 plus with k multiply with k, so you have 9 multiply by z minus 1. It will be equal to 0. Okay, so now we need to expand. So 26 times x is 26x, 26 times 1 is 26, plus with 7 times y is 7y, 7 times -2 is -14, plus with 9 times z is 9z, minus with 9 times 1 is -9 equal to 0. Okay, so now you have here 26 minus 14 will give you 12. Okay, 12 minus with 9 will give you 3. So what you will have is 26x plus 7y plus 9z plus 3 is equal to 0. So you have 26x plus 7y plus 9z equal to -3. This one will be your equation of plane. Alright? Thank you guys.